We are ready.
Cool.
Traditional. Great Britain is not that country which is associated with black metal. How did you choose such exotic genre?
Well, we kind of put it together from various sources. Like, we were good friends with bands like Emperor and Immortal and the whole early Osmo scene. We toured with Dissection as well, Moonspell, Necromantia. So we took aspects of that, aspects of the British scene, like bands like Carcass, Bolt Thrower, Paradise Lost, Anathema, and added a whole lot of sort of orchestral stuff, so soundtrack qualities. At that point, I think Bram Stoker's Dracula had come out, Interview with a Vampire, big cinematic gothic blockbusters, and we were kind of influenced by that as well. So we put all those things together, and people called us black metal.
Okay. And you mentioned Immortal and other Norwegian guys. As for you, who are more crazy, you or those guys?
Well, I've been to Norway a lot of times. I am very good friends with King from Godseed, and we've been to a lot of parties with, the satanic elite of Norway, and they've been really fun. Last time we were doing robotics. I think, we're as crazy as each other. Except obviously I haven't murdered anyone. Not yet, anyway.
So let's move to the most recent album. What's the inspiration behind it, and why did you choose Venus as a cover art?
Well, it's about the Victorian era, and the cover art depicts the seductive. Like, the Victorians had an affiliation with the darker side of things, the personification of death manifest, spiritualism, seances, memento mori. Everything had a centered death about it. Especially when Queen Victoria's husband died, the whole nation went into mourning. So it's their affiliation and association with death that is the inspiration about the album. And the front cover is like a theatrical, like a Penny Dreadful, like a West End musical cover. Venus, who's supposed to be this goddess of rebirth and love, she shows her decay. She's vampiric almost. It's a very quintessential Victorian image.
And talking about image, Victorian era is very picturesque. It is very visual, bright. Have you ever thought about novelization of this album or any else, or maybe about motion picture?
Like a film?
Yes,
about
film.
Well, yeah, I mean, we undertook a video that tried to get all the essence of what we were trying to achieve. So that was Heartbreak and Seance, and we actually shot that in Latvia, in Riga. The album's pretty cinematic anyway, so it would be great to visualize it further. We were actually intending to shoot another video, but before we went on tour in Europe last year for the track Vengeful Spirit, but we unfortunately ran out of time. And we're about to release early next year the remix and remaster from the original tapes, Cruelty and the Beast, and subsequently we're going to be doing another American tour, and then we're doing a European Cruelty and the Beast tour, and then we're taking that to South America as well. So we've got quite a busy year, and I think that kind of detracts from the fact of doing another video, because maybe we will, maybe we won't. It's just a case of fitting it in. But yeah, I agree with you. The album would demand making it a bigger visualization. Would be great.
Yeah, I think it would be great if you make it. And speaking about visuals, how did coming of YouTube era changed Cradle of Filth life?
Well, I think it changes everybody. I mean, everybody it's so immediate nowadays. Everybody wants everything like yesterday. That's they want it quick. They want it. It's lost its mysticism. When we first started, it was all about tape trading. You'd wait 2 weeks to get a letter back. It's not like an email. and the bands wanted to be mysterious, and you literally could not find anything about them. Now you just have to Google it. It doesn't matter how mysterious you are. It's on Wikipedia. Do you know what I mean? It's so immediate, and I think because of that, it's like peering behind the wizard's curtain. It's lost a bit of its magic. But yeah, I mean, obviously you can reach more people, but it depends what people you want to reach.
And how do you think could you have succeed if you started nowadays with YouTube and all this media?
Well, I think because of the structure of the music industry and the structure of social media platform, I think it'd be much more difficult because it's a very competitive market. A lot of people are recording albums in their basements rather than a proper recording studio. The days of the residential studio where you used to be able to go and stay and live there, pretty much long gone now because people just can't afford to do it. Because the money in music is so much less because of things like Spotify and Deezer and etc. People don't expect to pay for music anymore. So yeah, obviously that makes it a little harder, but record companies will adapt.
Also about revival and coming back some old good items. What do you think about current black metal revival?
Is there one?
Yes.
There's some good bands out there, yeah, definitely. I like Craft, I like Zealanada, I like The Spirit. Yeah, there's some great stuff. I think it's obviously I like the classic bands that are still going. Rotten Christ, Moonspell. Hopefully Emperor will do an album soon. The Abath album's great. Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if it was a revival. I didn't know there was, so sorry.
You mentioned Zealanada, and also I want to add Mirkur, the band that mix black metal with something.
Oh, Mirkur, yeah. She was like my prom date for. We went to Metal Hammer Awards in London, and we had to like have a pot, and she was my kind of with us. And she stole my hat. She still owes me a hat. She said I'll wear it and then I'll give it back to you before I leave, and then she never did. I want my fucking hat back.
So you don't think that all this interest in bands mean a revival of the whole genre?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the genre is very different now. It's a very different creature. We've talked about Zealanada. I mean, it's like a hybrid. The bands nowadays are hybrids. They're sort of more chameleon-like, more constructed of different parts than they ever were. And I think it's becoming quite an expansive scene. I don't know if it's, if you said a black metal revival, you'd be expecting bands that sound like Dark Throne, Mayhem, Immortal. And I think it's much more different. Like Alcest as well, another great band. Mm-hmm. And again, a little like Burzum, but then they've got like some very tranquil sort of anathema-like moods to them as well. Quite trancey.
And how do you think, if there is any way for metal and just heavy music to develop and to move forward, or all limits are already reached?
I really don't know. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you, because we keep that to ourselves. I think a lot of the bands are getting to the point, the big bands, of either dying or splitting up, or just saying that, like Slayer, we're not going to tour anymore, we're just going to do festivals. So there's going to be a need for other bands to go up there, otherwise, the scene will die. I don't know, I can't think who at the moment could fill those roles, but Slayer saying it's the last tour, it's like Kiss saying it's the last tour. We're saying that back in the 70s. Ozzy was saying it in the 80s, and they're announcing more tours.
And how do you see the future? Is it a stagnation like in 19th, or maybe some new fresh waves?
Well, yeah, obviously, I think like I say, with the current crop of bands, they're renewing the scene. They're injecting new ideas, fresh ideas, and marriages of different genres to create music. But everything goes in cycles, so I think you'll get it coming back again at some point, but it will just be like a bastardized form of it, you know, like slightly different flavour. But yeah, I think it will come back. Everything does.
And also speaking about metal and teenagers, one more eternal theme for mass media and mass audience. How do you think can metal or any other music genre push a person over the limit, even if this person is a kid or a teenager?
I think you have to be susceptible, and you know, you wouldn't have to necessarily be into heavy metal. You could be into watching crime documentaries. You know, you could be into the drug culture. You could just be a very unsettled individual, find any excuse, you know. I think metal does more. I think it does better than it does that it's bad, because it's about escapism. And I think, you know, the band's a little bit more intelligent nowadays than perhaps where they were when they were just singing about girls and cars. But I mean, that's cool too, to be honest. So yeah, I think people learn by it, and you know, it's a bit more tightly knit, a community. If someone's going to go mad, they're going to go mad regardless, you know.
And as I know, you have finished your poetry book, but decided to keep it unpublished.
I don't know. Things just keep coming up all the time, and I just haven't found a window to upset the world with it yet. And anyway, I keep writing. I write poems, so it'll probably get bigger, or some of the old ones will get kicked out. But I don't know, maybe soon. I don't know. There's lots of things that are happening in and around Cradle of Filth, because we've just recently we gave our old manager the sack. Not our old manager, we had a new one briefly, and we gave him the sack, and now we're with Des. There are Oracle Management, which is Des Fafara from Devil Driver, and they also manage Ginger, which is also, and yeah, things are going. We've got lots of good plans. The first of which is a full American tour in a couple of months. Big stage show, bringing a big stage show back to Cradle of Filth. Another album in the pipeline. Re-release of Cruelty and the Beast, and various other things, which I can't really talk about now, but it's exciting.
So we are excited to see it all.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Good.